Well, hi, we're going to talk about making mitered corners today. And mitered corners are terrific for lots of different things. We're going to talk specifically today about making cloth napkins, which are, of course, wonderful. The first thing that you want to do is choose your fabric, and I like to start with a square of fabric that is about 21 inches square. If you have a little less yardage, you can make it smaller. It doesn't even have to be square, but just get it to a size that's going to be reasonable for a napkin. And you're just going to press all the way around, just about a 1/4 inch under. You can eyeball that. You don't need to go through and mark it. Just do a 1/4 inch turn under and press that flat. So you have your fabric, and you've pressed a 1/4 inch underneath. You're going to open that up. You've got your press marks still there. And from the very corner of the fabric, you're going to measure in, I like to do about 3/4 of an inch. I'm sorry, 1 3/4 inch. So you just take your pencil, mark in 1 3/4, little mark there on the edge, and use your ruler as a straight edge. And make a mark just connecting those dots from the very edge of the fabric. Then the next thing you're going to do, let's see if I did it here already. I did. Sorry about this. You're going to pinch that edge where you've marked it 3/4 inch in. You fold your fabric back under, and then you just pinch it so that the edges, your folded edges, are together, and you can still see that part of your pencil mark. And you want those to really be on top of each other on either side. I like to put a pin in and test it to see if I've got them laying on top of each other. And here I have. And you turn to your machine, and I'm going to take the pencil or the pin out in case I want to make certain that I can see all the way to the edge, because you're going to be stitching through all 4 thicknesses here at the seam allowance, or at where you've turned your fabric under. I start in, because you're going to want to stitch across that line, but I start in just a couple of stitches worth into the fabric, and then I put in reverse. The reason for that is I don't want those tails sticking out the edge of my fabric when it's done. Then I go all the way to the fold, back stitch just a stitch or two, and off we come. Cut off my tails because I've started in from the edge of the fabric there. Those little tails aren't going to show. And just snip it off, your seam allowance, snip that off just a little less than a 1/4 inch. And this is what you're going to turn inside out. I like to keep a knitting needle handy so I can just push gently there. And here's your mitered corner. You're going to do all 4 of your corners this way, and then press them down. You might want to pin a little bit so that that fold that's just going to naturally form itself is going to stay nice and flat. You just press that, and you're going to stitch all the way around, close to that edge. Here's one that I did earlier. This one has a little bit of a narrower hem. I only made my first mark 1.5 inches in from the edge because I had a little less fabric, so I didn't want to eat up quite that much in the hem. But look how beautiful and flat those corners are. The mitered corner has very, very little bulk, and it just makes a beautiful edge for a napkin. That's how to make a mitered corner. Enjoy!